Greetings, everyone, wherever you are. I'm so excited to be here. I am Joan of Angels, Oracle of Ancient Wisdom, and Debbie will be back soon. You know, you always get what you ask for, guys, and I've been asking for more practice again, being live, going on live and talking again just from my soul, and here I am. So we are going to be talking about angelic conversations. I guess we're going to be having them, and navigating spirituality. So I thought I'd share with you a little bit of wisdom that I've learned over the years. I wasn't necessarily born spiritual, but I was born with a connection to angels and guides. Only I didn't have a coach. I didn't have anyone that recognized what that was. And I always found living on a 3D planet very difficult. I don't know about you guys, but I just was aware that it seemed to be very heavy and dense. And I realized that for myself, I had the best results when I had positive thoughts. If I stopped thinking about the negative and I went to the positive, there I was. And good things would happen, magical things would happen. So in a way, I felt that working with angels was like working with magic, working with an essence that would give me that extra juice to actually get what I was looking for. And so when you're in that angelic flow, or that high spiritual flow, or the manifesting flow, or I call it the miracle flow, then what you're asking for is asking for you. And you will find each other, and you'll see synchronicities and magic and miracles happening all the time. So I'm Joan of Angels, and I'm here on the planet really to help people remember who they are, and to really access the gifts and skills that they were born with, that all of you were born with, and to access that birth plan that soul plan that you actually came down here with. Because I do believe those of you who are hanging out with Debbie G or myself are aware that we are volunteers, that we came down here for a mission and a purpose and a reason. And that as we came down, we had a blueprint. We had our divine soul plan right there. I kind of said it was on a clipboard, kind of papers on a clipboard, and all your skills, all the people that you were going to meet this life, all the potential possibilities. But again, it was left for you to choose. Now, this clipboard that has everything, it has also an awareness of how you're going to fall off the path. So let's assume that your higher self is very excited. Joan's coming, Debbie's coming, you're coming to the planet, and you have a distinct purpose that's going to help uplift other people. Well, guess what? The other side knows that too, and they're prepared. And they are prepared to really be agents of the contrast. That's what we can call them, agents of the contrast, who are here to oppose you. And they could be in the form of family, friends, in your work, in your life. So as you grow up, you may encounter challenging situations that turn you away from this blueprint that you have, all those gifts. Somehow you don't want to use them. You're afraid to share them. It causes a lot of insecurity because you have constant attack, constant challenging situations. And believe it or not, many light workers, many angelic beings like we are, have experienced severe hardship in their early childhood and early lives. Now, for me, I was so shy. My dad was so verbally abusive. I think he's here listening to me, but that I hid in closets. I was afraid. I ran. I was afraid to ever speak my truth. Closets were my safest place. And when I was 3 years old, I actually ran away from home. Didn't get far, got on the roof and couldn't get back in the house. And, 3 years old, pretty scared. But I not only had all those challenging situations growing up in shyness, I also had a lot of compassion and empathy, because I was born with the gift of empathy. And I think many of you out there are empaths. You can feel what other people are feeling. And so I would feel their pain. I would feel my family's sorrow. I would feel their tragedies and really where they hurt. And as I grew up, I'm going to tell you the story, how I came to be Joan of Angels. I had a scoliosis in my spine. It was a curvature in my spine. And all the medical doctors wanted to operate because that's what they do. They put a rod in your spine. However, my dad was seeing a chiropractor, and I guess he mentioned it to the doctor, the chiro, and the chiropractor said 3 magic words: bring her in, bring her in. And so he brought me in, and I underwent chiropractic care, and the doctor healed my scoliosis. So now I have like a little mild curve, but not what I had in those days. And those rods, by the way, have been known to break. And when I became a chiropractor, I had several patients whose rods broke. So I have to say my dad was ahead of his time. But what happened for me was that as I grew older and I had this compassion, I ultimately became a chiropractor. I became a chiropractor because I had such a love of healing people. And I had a fantastic practice. I saw hundreds of people every week. I had one of the largest female practices in the country, and I did very, very well. I had 2 beautiful children. I had my Jaguar. I had a great house. I thought I had an ideal life, and I had a fiance. And this fiance I thought was the love of my life. At least he promised me that in the beginning. You probably all know the outcome of that story before I go into it. But he was the love of my life until slowly but surely he started asking me for money for his quote new business. So first he asked for $1,000, and then 5,000, and then 10, and 20,000 or 30,000. And before you know it, by the end of the year, when I sat down and I did my books, it had been $500,000, and I was destitute. But worse than that, he came home one night completely drunk. Turned out he had an anger management problem, a gambling problem, and he comes home completely drunk, and he holds up the guitar that I had paid for over my head, and he was about to smash it down. And I started screaming to my kids, call 911, and they did, and the man was taken out of the house. And after that, I grabbed my children and ran away. And I ran away, and I realized that I needed to learn how to speak my truth. And I began to meet other women who had been verbally abused, physically abused, who had lost their power, who had forgotten how they could shine their light. And that became a driving force in my life to learn how to not only speak my truth, but to help others who were trapped in the situations that I was in as well. Help them learn how to find their voice, because heck, our voice has been stifled by the male patriarchy, kind of like they stuck a cork in your throat, but also who are living in abusive, controlling situations and needed to find not only their voice, but their freedom, and needed to learn how to live their best life. Now, so I just started a new show. In fact, I had Debbie G on it. It'll air come June. But I started this new show called Shine Your Brilliance, because that's what I do. I help people shine their brilliance. I help people remember how powerful they are so they can't turn around and forget who they are, like I did for part of my life, like I did growing up. So welcome, everyone, by the way. Nice to see you. Nice to see any of the people out here. Please let us know where you're from. Nicholas, let us know where you're from. Great to see you. And look who's here, Debbie Gratitude. I can't hear you, Debbie. Take your headset off. Can't hear you at all. There's no Debbie G. Okay, let's see if I can read lips. Hello, how are you? Oh, my friend Blessed by the Best is here. Hi. Oh, so good to see you, honey. We're trying to get the show off the ground. But my host, my interviewer, she's gonna, you can write it out and put it up. She can't talk. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but I'm not sure. But I explained to you. So I'm going to finish on with my story, actually. I explained to you. So here I am recovering from the abusive relationship. I start working with people. I discovered I had a gift for not just reading cards, but for doing readings for people. And I began doing readings and trainings for people on how to get out of a rut, how to know who you are, how to start accessing all those gifts that you came in with and using them. And I wrote a book on miracles. I formed a group with my kids because we were now destitute. We called the Miracle Makers Club. And every day we would come together and hold hands and visualize what we wanted. So the first key was that we came together in a mastermind group. And oh, no wonder I can't hear you, Debbie. Your sound is off. If it was that simple. Oh, it's not that simple. Okay. So it's okay. She's just going to listen to me and let me go. So we had the Miracle Makers Club. I wrote books about miracles. I was really excited, taught people how to get in the miracle flow. And what's the miracle flow? The miracle flow is when you're actually in tune with what your higher self wants you to do, and all the pieces come together. And it's like magic. It's like it's just like magic. You meet the people you need to. You're gifted what you need to have. Everything flows in the way you want until you fall out of that. So I had fallen out of that by 2013. and I was desperate. I was just desperate. I'd lost everything a second time, not kosher. I don't recommend it. And we were destitute. So I again was begging for a miracle. Now I expected the miracle to come in the form of something tangible, a check, a new house, a new car, money in the bank. It really all had to do with money and or help. But instead, I got this voice that said, and I hear my voices right here. That's why I hold my ear. Paint 33 angels in 30 days. And I said, no, you're crazy. Too many canvases, too much oil paint. It's going to smell. What am I going to do with them? It was very 3D response, right? So I heard the voice again. This time it was very practical. I said, I can't do eyes. I can't do faces. What are you talking about? And then they said it a third time. Now, I'm telling you this because for many of you too hear prompting, but you say no, or someone tells you to say no. But so the third time came around, and I knew that they weren't going to ask me again. And suddenly I had a hot flash that this was my salvation. And it was like, "You're not doing anything better, Joan. You might as well start painting those 33 angels." And so I said yes. Now, when I said yes, they didn't tell me what I was going to do with that or nothing. Just paint it, follow instructions. But they let me know that they had asked thousands of people to do this. Not to have an ego, I wasn't the only one, but many are called, but few choose. And so they said the key to being one of the chosen ones is you have to choose. So I chose and I started painting. And a couple of years later, right before I met our friend Debbie Gratitude, I moved to the desert so I could hear. And on day 2, I was having breakfast with this new friend, and she looks at me and she says, "What did you say your name was?" Just like that. "What did you say your name was?" And I start to tell her, and she goes, "Shh, say nothing." And the whole restaurant went quiet. Not that they knew what we were talking about, but I was in a zone and they all went quiet, just like a movie. And she said, "I know who you are. You're Joan of Angels." And then I heard the Hallelujah chorus. And then I knew who I was. But it took me 7 years to become who I was. So on this path of spirituality, it's not like you wake up one day and say, "I'm going to be a spiritual person from this moment on." It's a process. It's a process of learning to listen, learning to say yes to the guidance you receive, and keeping a clear, focused intention on where you're going. And so I'm glad to invite all of you on this journey with me. My new show is called Shine Your Brilliance, how to step into the light and live your best life now. My new course is called Radiant Soul Revolution. You got to hear that, radiant. So become a radiant, radiant soul, meaning awakening you to your soul, almost introducing you to your soul, because so many of us have forgotten our soul and don't live in that soul-inspired life. Revolution, a new way of doing things, a new way of being, connecting with other radiant souls on their path of evolution to becoming who we are, releasing our inner power and our light. How does that sound, Madam Debbie? She's still not speaking. It's a one-woman show with my little sidekick over there. I have been looking forward to this show. We already rescheduled shows several times, and I have to laugh. I'm so grateful. Am I going in the right direction? Yes, of course I'm going in the right direction. All right, so that is who I am, and that's how I got here. And I'm here to tell you that each and every one of you who are listening also have a soul path that's on your clipboard that has everything, all the gifts, all the talents, all the goodies that you came here to experience and to share with everyone. And it's only a matter of learning how to access that. And why do you want to access that? Well, you want to access that because let's just talk about, I'm going to go about it in a different way. You have to know, I wasn't expecting this, but I'm good with it. So imagine that this is how I see the earth. I see Mother Gaia as an orchestra. It's a huge orchestra with 8 billion instruments playing. Debbie, I heard something.
I got it, didn't I?
Turn it up, though.
Okay. Hold on.
Oh, my God. See? You said turn on the light, and we turned on the light.
Okay. Can you guys hear me okay?
Well, I can.
Let's just, okay. So, yeah, I apologize for that. We are here. So what do I think of the revolution? I think the revolution is amazing.
How do you like that title? When it came out, my heart started singing. Radiance. But I realize not everyone knows what I'm talking about. So I want to talk about that state of being radiant, of being a light bearer, and why. Why do you want to do that? Well, as I said, when you raise your light and start to shine so bright, it spreads. It spreads, and it positively impacts hundreds or thousands of people around you. And then it spreads further, so that you are positively impacting your community, your schools, your country, your state, your country, yes, by our thoughts. So we can actually positively impact everyone who lives in the United States. Let's just start with that, by holding and raising our light to the highest frequencies and learning how to spread that. And that's what I really mean by unleash your inner power now. You're not just helping yourself, but the side effect, it's a side effect, is you're helping launch miracles for everyone else. You're shifting us into that sphere of miracles.
I think that's absolutely amazing. And I really hope this is muting when I mute it.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. I just, I want to just talk for a second about Joan of Angels. And I want to talk about her new program coming up, because I think it's really important for us to just, let's just rehash some of the things that she said, because what I heard you saying as I was getting my, my sound fixed is that in pulling together and each of us remembering who we are and pulling together in this revolution of mankind actually being humankind, meaning we're kind to human beings, right? Humankind. Have you ever thought about what that means? Yeah, humankind. So to do programs, you break it down to the nitty-gritty of this. When you have somebody like Joan, and I was so blessed on that Sunday morning when I heard the call to go see Joan of Angels in the beautiful Coachella Valley. And what I have to tell you is that I followed my gut instinct. I had talked on the phone to Joan, but Joan's magic, okay? It's just all there is to it. I don't know how else to put it. She does something, and I talk about this to everybody, it's called fluff your wings. And to me, that process felt like a soul expansion from the inside out, where everything just sort of burst open. And, this is many years ago. And in that time, What I know for sure is the frequencies and the things that Joan works with come through in not only her artwork, but then also through her just beingness because of that channel she is. So this is a great opportunity for everybody to join together and work with Joan, I think. That's what I think.
You know, feel free to ask questions because I'm in the mood to ask questions.
I'm in the mood.
I'm just getting used to going back on YouTube and going live again.
Yeah.
I feel a little rusty, so really feel free to ask me questions.
Well, you know, sometimes things get really stale and we have to just shake it up and do a chakra shake, you know, and that's what I love to do here. Woo! So we'll just throw on some tunage, you guys. Let's just let's do feeding the ducks.
She's serious.
I am dead serious. We're gonna just shake it around.
I can see you feeding the ducks, so I kind of got lost for a second. I thought ducks.
Woo!
We have ducks on her property.
And then we'll just pump it up a little bit.
Okay, guys, dance with us if you don't mind.
So one of my favorite people out there on this planet was a young man named Sean Stevenson, who's no longer on the planet, who transitioned. He had brittle bone disease. And he's got this video called The Dance Party. And that dance party is about all you getting into the awesomeness that you are. Now, as Joan said, if you have a problem with that, we do have a revolution you can join, and it's called being human kind.
But I want to break down that word human.
Can you just break it down? Let's break it down.
Yeah, I'm going to break it down because man is like humanity or mankind, but human is that other name for God. So right in that word, human is a godlike being, a godlike man or a godlike woman. And she's freaking out. Human. What do you think a human is?
I think
many people are trapped in their three-dimensional man/woman and have forgotten, it's a hue, have forgotten that godlike aspect of us. And what does that mean? That means you're capable of hearing the voice within. You're capable of connecting with your guides. You're capable of using your own spiritual gifts to materialize and manifest that which you're seeking or to create and live a better life. It's really about waking up that connection you have to the human, not to the three-dimensional mankind. Does that make sense?
It makes so much sense, but I have to tell you, I was soaking in my magnesium bath earlier talking to Claudia Thompson, Moon Powered Astrology.
Yeah, I love her.
We love Claudia. So I'm laying there and I'm soaking because magnesium, y'all, from the Dead Sea, you can order it on Amazon. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just telling you what I do is like, oh my gosh, it's the biggest life sense. Oh, I love this stuff. So I lay there and I soak. And she starts talking to me about hue, the hue in human. So I said, because we're going to ask our muse, right? And the practice of chanting hue is associated with several spiritual traditions, most notably the teachings of, is it Eckankar? Eckankar. I didn't see that correctly. Eckankar is a modern spiritual movement, blah, blah, blah. The purpose is it helps individuals to connect with the divine and experience inner peace and gain spiritual insight. Because the hue, why do we keep forgetting? Why do we ignore the hue in human?
Because this 3D planet has meant to be, it's like we're stuck in a matrix and we're stuck in a three-dimensional reality, meaning that miracles don't happen on a 3D plane. Manifestation doesn't happen. Upliftment doesn't happen because you're dealing with tangible jobs, children, schools, and partners. That hue part of us is meant to uplift us into a higher consciousness so that everything we do comes through a filter of light and of love and of being in our heart. So there's an invitation for us to stretch. Let's put it that way, to stretch from just being the man or woman up to being the godlike higher dimensional frequency. It's part of our lessons. It's part of being trapped on the planet. I mean, because if you believe in reincarnation, if you understand that we come in to learn these lessons and to have a gradual ascension, a gradual lifting of our consciousness until it's so high that we actually materialize to the other plane. We don't actually die, we actually get taken up. And there's many examples of that. But the goal is to not repeat all the issues and problems we've had before and to step into a higher plane so we really don't have to come back and we can go and live our amazing life on another planet or solar system or galaxy. Or go back. Some of you are starseeds. Some of you have extraterrestrial origins. The goal would be to go back. We came here for a mission that's taken a lot of lifetimes, which is another reason why people have forgotten. And the pain of coming down here and being a healer or an herbalist or a woman, medicine woman, and being prosecuted and burned at the stake or hung because you know how to heal people. Now, if you think about that, wouldn't they a smart society would celebrate someone who can heal people or who could read the future? But no, they just wanted to burn you all at the stake.
And they were all female. I just don't even know what to say about that.
Well, we understand that there is a program that the divine women should not know how powerful that they are.
Well, we do know how powerful we are. So your program failed miserably. So here's what I have to say, because we're awake now. Whatever was, whatever is now. And what I know for certain is I had this thing. I got to share this with you, Joan. Joan, what does all this mean? Okay, ready? Y'all listen, okay? So the thing that's been coming through for me about being human and equalization is equalizing ourselves as a human. Meaning that if there was a mixer box in front of us, an equalizing box that you would use like on a stereo system or something like that, you'd be moving the dials, right? Mm-hmm. And those dials are going to be the frequency in which that you feel good for you. And each one of us have our own set of dials and frequencies as an individual human. And what I've noticed is that when I'm working my own buttons to meet the frequency that feels good for me, my life is in flow because I have equalized as a human. Mm-hmm. However, when I'm trying to maneuver those buttons to be a frequency that someone else prefers, then I'm not in flow in the same way. So that all has to do with the nervous system and some very physical things, but it also has to do with something that I want to ask you what you think about this, because this came up for me and y'all, this is a big deal. I used to have a dream, Joan, when I was a little girl. Started about 5 when abuse started for me. And it was of a bear chasing me. And this bear was always chasing me, and I'd wake up and just terrified. I'd wake up. And I had the dream once more as an adult, but I haven't had it in a very long time. And I prefaced this for this. So it seems like that I've been running from the bear forever, being the nervous system, being fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, being in survivorship, being instead of thrivership. But I was having literal dreams of the bear chasing me. Now I'm learning to wrangle the bear. Now I see the bear more of as a Care Bear, like big giant love coming from his belly and big giant love coming from his heart. But the analogy came to me that I'm no longer chasing the bear, but I think we all chase a bear. But isn't it odd, though, that this memory came up in the idea that we no longer have to be in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn running from something?
Well, and that is an awakening for sure. But I will say this. Yes, there's a lot of ways to interpret it. But what I heard was that, so sometimes we have, I don't even know how to say that. So abductions happen sometimes when we're very young, and we get screen memories. So I used to have rats chasing me all the time. So you had bears chasing you all the time. But I come to learn later on that I had many abductions as a kid, which stopped.
That would make a lot more sense.
Which stopped when I was in my 50s. And completely stopped one day because I would go to bed and I would hear steps. I couldn't sleep. I'd be frozen, like that state of, I don't know if you've ever had that state where you can't move. And I'd wake up and I can't move. I'd hear footsteps coming up, and then God knows I'd probably pass out. But I came to realize and find out under hypnosis that those were abductions, literal abductions. And most of the time they put a screen memory on it, so you don't remember. But you do remember in certain things, like I was always afraid to be home alone, terrified to be home alone. And I have several hybrid kids, but it stopped at 50. And it suddenly just stopped. I mean, I just remember raising my kids, and we were in Berkeley where we lived, and my husband didn't come home till 3 a.m, and I'd be scared of being alone.
Yeah.
And then it stopped. Just like that. But then the abduction stopped.
That's very
So
interesting. I need hypnosis, do I?
What?
I need hypnosis.
Well,
I was looking. Yeah, I was looking at it as a possibility that I've ran a lot in my life. I ran from, not really run to. I run from. I don't need to deal with that. I'm gone, or whatever the case might be. So the nervous system and reconnection to the nervous system and altering my equalization, it was just this image came up suddenly of those dreams. Like, why is that coming up? Why? Because I'm no longer the bear's no longer chasing me.
Right. And you faced the bear.
I wrangled that baby.
Well, you faced it, and you're transforming in a way that it has no more impact on you.
See, and this has started though with Joan. And you guys need to get this. Well, yeah, because Joan, look, I started off with, so I knew Terry and I knew Karen, and I'm not saying that I wasn't already doing Spirituality Gone Wild, and I'm not saying that, but I am saying that I said a sacred yes. And literally the next day I'm feeling this knowingness that I need to come see you. And what I know is that you guys need to take heed to the people out here that are able to help you to tap back into your energy and into your connection. And Joan's one of those people because you helped me tap back in. And now I'm rocking it.
And look how long it takes. So
Forever.
Guys, it took me 7 years in the desert to not go into mortification, telling people I'm Joan of Angels, to actually be Joan of Angels, to be what that embodies.
Right. I'm Debbie Gratitude, and it's hilarious. Oh my God, right? Terry, but here's the thing. Why not use names that signify something that might just be a little bit more appropriate to who you are? I love that my father was my dad since I was 3, and that he gave me his last name to use. And I thought that was great. But, it's about my own identity, and let's look at identity. And this is what Joan's revolution is about. It's about when you re-identify who you are. Has anybody ever said, because I've heard people say, I used to say this, so I've done it this way for X amount of years. I'm not changing that.
I'm not changing now. That's a death blow to any innovation and any transformation.
But why are they so scared, Joan?
Well, Debbie, we live on a difficult planet. There's no security here. The only security is within. But remember, most people aren't awake enough to understand that this is a matrix, that this is a third dimensional reality, that we're more than our body. So every blow hurts because we think we're that. We think we're this body. But, I do these soul essence portraits, and what I've discovered is that we have many soul aspects of ourselves. Trauma forces us to lose those soul aspects. We go into fear, we go into a bad relationship, we almost leave pieces of our soul, fragments, all out there. And healing is recovering those memories with your dad, recovering, pulling them back, and healing. And in my case, I had 33 missing soul fragments that I had to call back in and start to reintegrate. So part of the work is about reintegrating and reconnecting with your soul in all of its aspects and what you're here to do.
Agree. And I think that the part that has been coming to me pretty big is about the being human. And like you were talking about breaking it down, the hue and the man. The hue and the man. Apparently, this is something really big in the collective right now, and we're all needing to really share about this and talk about it. You guys, give us your input. Tell us what you're thinking. How is this resonating? Is this sitting with you? Because I have something else to tell you too. It's all right to just be a human. It's all right to make mistakes. It's all right to say, I did that. You know what, Joan? I want to talk about today.
Okay.
So in the mornings when I wake up, I want to tell you all what I do. I wake up in the morning and I listen to something that's going to fill my spirit. And then I pull cards with my hubby. And then we read what the cards are telling us for confirmation for the day and how everything's going. And I love that. And then my emails hit. And then I was fires, right? Because I'm doing a job right now on an event and fires come. And you have to put out the fires. Before I tell the client that there's a fire, I tell the client there's a fire. There's a solution, by the way. Why do we need a solution? Because there was a fire. Did you take care of it? Yeah. Are we good? Totally. But it was 2 hours out of my morning that was completely unexpected. And trauma has presented my body, because that's what you were just talking about was trauma. So I wanted to lead back in there. Trauma presents for me when situations can come up like this. They used to present as overwhelm. Why do you think I'm so good at putting out fires?
Your whole life has probably been as a fire person.
Freaking trauma.
Right.
Why do you think you really got to sit down and think about it. Why are you so good at what you do? But here's the deal. You are so good at what you do.
Because you had to learn how to thrive in an environment that was literally hostile to many of us.
Exactly.
And with agendas that people didn't understand those agendas, but they were to force you to hide your light and be hidden, even from yourself.
So I want you to tell people, Joan.
What do you want me to tell them?
Well, we'll talk about trauma in a minute, because trauma is always a deep subject, and we're not going to get completely into that. But I will say that I don't think we heal trauma. I think we manage it. I don't think we heal it, because I've had CPTSD. I've had every trauma a woman on a planet can have. And what I know for sure is I'm still here breathing. And one of the things that you teach about, Joan, even when it's completely hit the fan, you talk about gauging it on a scale from 1 to 10 where you're sitting. Right. And you talk about but I'm going to tell you something. People, you've got to be able to tune into yourself. So, Joan, how can we tell them to tune into themselves the way that Joan of Angels does it? Because let me tell you, it's a phenomenal way. Tell us about your scale, Joan.
You're just beautiful, Debbie. I love you. I have gratitude for the gratitude in you. So, guys, I've been working with this for years. I worked in it my chiropractic practice with patients in order to see the results that they wanted, and it would work. So imagine that I'm going to have you close your eyes and imagine a horizontal line. On the left is 0 and on the right is 10. 0 is like dead. 10 is on fire. And you have a clock hand. And straight up and down is neutral. And you don't really want to be neutral on these things, by the way. And so close your eyes. And on a scale of 1 to 10, first take a look at your vitality. Where is your vitality, your soul energy at this current moment of time? Now, one of the things I've noticed, I used to do this on Miracle Monday all the time, and people's energies would change through the show as they started to turn up their light. But pay attention to where it is. So we look at on a scale of 1 to 10, what's my vitality? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's my vibration? At what level am I vibrating at? And that could be a shock to your nervous system, either way. But if it's lower than 7 or 8, then you have to say, it would be good to say, okay, what can I do to raise my vibration? Why? Because when you have a lower vibration, you bring other people down by virtue of the fact that humans absorb other people's frequencies. So a low frequency person walks in the room and the vibes shift and people get uncomfortable. They don't know why. The vibes in the whole room shift. Or a high vibe person comes in and it raises the vibrations in the room. And everyone knows and can feel that something energetic has happened. So my philosophy is that when I walk in a room, I have fluffed my wings, I've raised my light, and I'm empowered already when I walk in. And so I kind of glide into a room and people do notice me and they feel that energetic resonance. When you have a high vibration, you can heal not only yourself, but those around you. And there's another reason to do it. The planet can only ascend or evolve to the highest level of the lowest frequency. Although there's a lot of talk that there's going to be a separation, and some of us go one place, the others go the other. But at the current moment of time, even if you're at a high level, if this person down here is this low and there's many of those, it still lowers the frequencies. So
right, it shifts the equalization.
And as I started to say, the orchestra, Earth being an orchestra, if you're out of tune, all it takes is one person to be out of tune to be out of tune.
Absolutely.
In a orchestra, you can always hear that one person. And so if you want harmony on the planet and in your own life, we want to work on our frequency so that we are aligned with ourselves, and that'll line up to also supporting others to play their instrument the best that they can as well. I also want to say something when we got that subject of humans. I wanted to confirm something that I had read recently, which got me on the topic of humans. But the word humans are, because this is a shock to my system, a culture-bearing primate. Okay, classified in the genus Homo, okay, and sapiens, but we're actually, in technical terms of what a human is, it's an advanced primate.
Advanced species.
An advanced species of a primate. However, when you add the human to it, a human has the ability to step into the divine, to raise their vibration, to transform their own world and bring the light in. And that's what makes us advance. It's not just that we have thinking abilities. We have the ability to connect with source. We have the ability to go home. We have the ability to transform those around us by remembering.
Yep. I will say that what you just said about frequency is on point. And I know it's true. So I want to share something to confirm what Jonas said. What she said was that you got to watch frequency, mind your vibe before you step into a room. Joan does it before she steps out of the house. I already know this because I already know Joan. She does it before she goes anywhere. She fluffs her wings and she sets her intentions before that she walks in anywhere. She won't leave her sanctuary, wherever that she is at is her sanctuary, until that she's done this. I know that. And it's a really, really divine practice that you all need to be paying attention to, this human thing. But I also want to share some scientific evidence to back it up from Dr. Steven Sidoroff, a neuroscientist, psychologist at UCLA, who I recently interviewed. And he said, Joe, you can put electrodes on my brain to pick, no, wait, hold on, let me just rethink this. Yes, electrodes on my brain will read the frequency of your heart.
Yes.
And they can see the frequency. They can see it, the heart of another, without any attachment, you guys. There's no touching, okay, going on. This is simply, I will have electrodes on my brain and the doctor is going to be watching, and it changes by who is coming around me. And this is detectable scientifically on scans now. And you guys can go watch that interview.
And your brain waves will change by the people that are around you.
Correct, because we pick up their heart frequencies. because we pick up their heart frequencies and their brain frequencies. So when you're getting the hit, not just thinking I'm not talking about judging a book by its cover or some judgment that us humans have been geared to. I'm talking about a real gut that I'm not thinking this might not be. Have you ever noticed if it's it might not be, and you do it anyway, and later you go, I knew that. It's not just hindsight. You knew that. But see,
you knew that your gut really knew, and it's just a matter of opening up that communication system.
Yes.
With your brain to understand what the message is. You know, I did a session today for someone, and she found 3 snakes. Last night there was 1, and today there were 3 black snakes, and we had to decode what that meant. Because it definitely was a message from spirit. She didn't listen to it the first time. She listened to it the second, you know, which we are always getting messages from the universe. So in aligned with what you said, I read something the other day about seeds. Now, if you took a seed, say it's a tomato plant, and you put it in your mouth and you put your saliva on it, that seed will actually adapt to give you what you need in your body.
Correct. The Anastasia methodology there, that when you put the seed in your mouth, the DNA from the seed then embeds into the seed of the plant, and then those plants are specifically for you and your DNA because they have altered their DNA to best give you the best health you could possibly get.
Isn't that the most amazing miracle?
Yeah. There's communities all over the world of Anastasia. There's books out there and whatnot. It's actually a quite interesting study, if you will. And I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating to look at the most compassionate tribe in the world, I can't say the name. I have it right here in my chat. I just wrote about this in school. See, here's the thing. The human part. What you said about frequency, about us picking up on each other, all of this is scientifically proven now. This stuff is really serious. So here's the deal. You as a human being have the opportunity to make a difference for yourself, because that's the only thing you should be making a difference for. And the fact that you should really, honestly, Jesus, if you do it, everyone around you are going to feel better too. And I don't know, I want to give you an example, and I want to let you talk again after that, but I really need to share an example of something. I let my kitty cat go out on my balcony. Now I live out in the boonies. She's a bottle raised cat, Joan, and I just don't let her outside at all. And I want to tell you guys that she's been staying up here on the top and whatever. You want to talk about not listening to our warnings, right? That's what you were just saying, when we don't listen or take heed to the thing that we're hearing. So this big black feral cat, he likes to come up and have some snacks, because we do feed the ferals that are out here, and I fix them too. But anyway, so Bella's out there, and I hear a cat cry, and I look, and that big old tomcat, who I think might be her daddy, is fully got her trapped right there, and she's not a happy girl. So I'm looking at him going, you're going to kind of need to go away now. And he's looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm still bigger than you. I don't care if you're a cat, scoot. So here comes the part that's the lesson. So I tell Bella, he goes away. I sit outside and I babysit to make sure he doesn't come back. And I just let Bella hang out. But then I go away, and then I'm doing stuff and I'm busy. Now, nothing happened with Bella. This is a good ending story. Okay. But here's the thing. I knew that I knew I probably should have brought her in. And when I went to go find her, I couldn't find her. She didn't come back. I didn't know if she was going to come back or not. I was in tears and devastated. I felt like I didn't provide enough protection for my cat. I really, I thought, well, she's on the upper balcony up here in our room. She's not, I'm a babysitter. That big black cat warning that maybe your kitty might not be the safest out here without you should have been I should have taken heed to that and brought her in with me when I decided to walk away. She came back. I got up. Of course, I woke up every half hour, and she was sleeping in the papasan out there in the chair, and I was like in tears, thrilled to death. And she's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, yeah, you're a cat. I love that. But she's also my cat, and that makes her people. And I'm just telling you, the heat of the warning. And I sat there and I told Joe, I'm like, that's my hubby. I said, I didn't, if I were staying present and paying attention, I would have paid attention to the black cat warning of Bella doesn't need to be out there by herself, no
Right.
matter what. Right?
Right.
But I didn't do it, did I?
But
She
you're
came
not
back.
perfect. And you didn't see what happens is that it didn't register.
No.
You had the warning, but it didn't
Yeah.
register into you having to do action on it. And that does happen. That's a frequent, it's just frequently happens because it's too much. You have something to do. That's why we don't listen to our intuition a lot. Well, you know, that I don't have time for that right now, or that makes no sense to me, or I'm not going to deal with it. And we are guilty. And that's why one of the things I have all my clients do is start keeping a track of the times you listened to the voice and the times you didn't, because you will be totally flabbergasted that, like, for instance, Debbie, had you listened, of course, then you wouldn't have gone into worry. And now that won't happen again, but you had to have that aha experience first. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I didn't listen to my intuition and it was a disaster, literal disaster. Even if I teach the class and I'm too busy to pay attention, I suffer in the end. And then I go, why in the world did I do that? Listen, you know, we are humans. We do live here on the planet. There are days, like Debbie said, for 2 hours, she had to deal with something. And there are times where our humanness, our 3D reality takes over. Like, I don't have time for this. I can't deal with it. So, you know, we've covered a lot of stuff, but understand that we do the best we can every day. We're here on this 3D planet. We learn new tools to become superhuman. You know, I think to really be able to use our telepathy, to use our intuition, to use our gifts, and to live a better life. How it really takes focus to live your best life. It doesn't happen natural. If you want to live your life by default, you might find yourself struggling. But if you hold the focus, because you put into the conscious field your dreams, hopes, and desires, they will come to you, because that's the way it works. So it is.
So it is, and so it is, because
All
that's
right.
the way it.
Anything else you need to do, or
well, we need to tell people like how to get a hold of you and sign up for your new course.
Okay, so to sign up for my new course, I'm going to give Debbie the link, but you know, I think I could put it in here too. I have the class sitting on, what do you call it? Eventbrite, because I can't get it up on the site. So it's right here in the comments. I call the class, the new class is Radiant Soul Revolution. I should probably Radiant Soul Evolution, if I think about it, because in a way, it's really teaching us how to start singing to our soul. I do this process where I have you literally waking up your soul and singing to your soul as if you were God, as if you were that Hugh-like figure.
Right.
Because we are waking up that God-like part within us. And it's that God-like part that's connecting with the angels or connecting with our soul plan. And the God-like part that can harness the gifts like telepathy or intuition. So that class is happening July 3rd. It begins. It's a 6-week in-person live class. It's not a pre-recorded class. It also comes with 30-minute session with me, a planning session, because I want to make sure you know what you want to get out of this class. So before we start our first session, I will have already met individually with everyone. It is part of the class to do that. By the time you finish with the class,
in person or in person on Zoom?
it's online.
Online, online, guys. It's live online.
It's live online, which is not pre-recorded, live online. We'll be doing a lot of group channeling, a lot of group teaching, a lot of interaction. So you'll have a community of others who are unleashing their power. It's a big thing to step into your power, your purpose, your presence, and to walk the path as a higher frequency being. And so we're going to talk on that. I do a lot of activations. Oh my God, I love activating and upgrading your DNA for your new angelic template that will be created We do, manifesting your radiant future.
Oh, I
And
love that.
definitely having a lot more fun. It's really how to have more joy, experience who you are, but live the life that you have always wanted to, but it's over here. You can't reach it. It's over there. You can't even see it.
Well,
And
you know
just live
what?
into it.
You know why? Because there's no WIN win in WHE win.
WHE. What is WHE?
WHEN win. WIN win. There is no WIN win in WHEN win.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
So,
win in win.
so there's 6 courses, 6 weeks of igniting your inner fire, which is really important, your passion, your reason for being, your purpose, embracing your authentic self, not the self that's been forced into hiding all these years, cultivating your inner strength, your power, unleashing your creative, your brilliance, your creative potential. Because right now we're potential. We're like a seed waiting to sprout. Then aligning with your purpose, your body, mind, and spirit. Sometimes we know what we want to do, but our body and mind and spirit and heart are not aligned yet. So like with a crystal, you can have a crystal that's not aligned to you. So we align you with your highest destiny.
I love that. And I'm excited for it because I already know firsthand what happens when you do one of Joan's courses. So y'all might want to think about it. I mean,
It's a big investment. It's an investment
6
of your
weeks.
time and your money for the class, because the results are going to be according to what you've invested in a certain sense. So it's going to be very empowering. It's all about learning how to stand in your truth, power, purpose, passion, and presence, how to walk with the light, how to walk in your highest, how to be seen for who you really are.
And that is something that I
and look at the pretty flyer. See all the stars in it? Wait.
I see.
No, all you can see is me laughing. I am laughing because life has become so funny. Okay, well, you can't have a screensaver and expect it to shine like that. Oh, wait. Yeah, you see all the stars there? You can see it. All right. Shining bright.
I love it.
So all my people shine bright. That's my mission, helping you remember, step into your power, and be who you truly came here to be. I've been doing that. I can't even tell you how many years, Debbie.
A long time.
Over 40. Over 40.
I know that's true. I'm excited, Joan. This is going to be fun. All right, everybody. So the link is in the chat. Please, please, please come on and join Joan. You really want to do it just because you do. And I'm going to tell you, if you're watching this, that's just your sign. We were talking about signs, remember? That's your sign. There's your sign.
Oh, your sign. That's right.
That's
what kind of signs do you have? I get signs every single day. Gosh, I just remembered the last one was, of course, I forgot. It was so shocking. Oh, yeah. So I came up with the name Radiant Soul Revolution.
Yes.
And I go online and I go, what's a radiant soul? And the first thing that comes up with is a woman who's about 10 minutes from where I am here in Tempe, Arizona, who has this Radiant Soul website and a shop
that's great.
for Radiant Souls, and it's like 10 minutes away. I'm going to stop there on Saturday.
That's beautiful.
But I took it as a sign that it's the right name.
I think that I love that, and it is a good sign. And if you're watching this right now, it's your sign. And
it's your sign, yes.
And somebody said something. Let's see. Oh, that's Joan putting her thing in. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your afternoon. Look for these replays to be coming up if you're watching on the replay, which I'm sure you are right now. Thank you so much for being here today. And don't forget to follow and like Spirituality Gone Wild. I am Debbie G, Debbie Gratitude online, and this is Joan of Angels. Please like, follow, and get ready for some more great fun coming very, very soon.